Here's a clip from Tarabuster with Tara Devlin.
I was telling the listeners earlier that Mary Trump's book is important, but there is no more important book for this time but your book, How Trump Stole 2020. This has to really be on everyone's top of mind because they're at it again. So I thank you for all that you do, and thank you for writing it.
Well,
What do we
you're
do?
welcome. And thing is, I didn't write Trump Stole 2020 because I thought it's hopeless. He did steal 2020. That's a fact. I don't have crystal balls. I have a fedora. I'm an investigative reporter, and here's the truth. They've already removed 17 million people from the voter rolls. And that means I would say about a fourth of the people listening are probably have lost their registrations and don't know it. So you're not going to get your mail-in ballot. I know they want you to mail in your ballot, but if you don't get it, if it's not mailed to you, I don't think people get this. Write this down. If my ballot is not mailed to me, I can't mail it back in, right? I know it sounds obvious, but I haven't heard this anywhere on MSDNC or on anything that gives you a hint that there's a problem here and you better take care of it. So everyone listening to this is Greg Palast, by the way.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. We didn't even introduce you. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. You want to do the introduction thing? Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it.
So they say, who is this? Who is this guy?
I'm so discombobulated.
With his lumberjack mother.
Exactly.
Okay, go right ahead.
Greg Palast he's an investigative reporter for the BBC, The Guardian, Rolling Stone. He has written bestsellers, including The Best Democracy Money Can Buy. And his new book, How Trump Stole 2020, The Hunt for America's Vanished Voters, has just been released, and you need to go get it right now.
The important thing is, so number one, check your registration, ladies and gentlemen. Besides getting the book, getting the audio book, check your registration online. You can do that in any state, and you'll be surprised. I know I looked up Greg Palast and said no such voter here in California.
Wow.
Right? It's all these cool surfer dudes. It's really an awful place to vote, actually. Most places are. And, unless you're like in Oregon or some kind of white enclave like that. It's amazing that of all the places that Trump has invaded, he invaded the whitest city in America. And that, by the way, that's not just an idea. That's true. It's 6% black, which makes it the whitest city in the United States, a major city in the United States.
Wow.
But I guess Trump wants to keep it that way.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
But the important thing for us is how we steal back the election. So the book is called How Trump Stole 2020, but the whole point is how you steal it back. So I'm just warning you. So ladies and gentlemen, you get no ballot unless you're registered, so check your registration now.
Right.
I was in Atlanta at the beginning of How Trump Stole 2020. I'm in Atlanta. And I have sued the Trumpette, Brian Kemp, who's now governor of Georgia, Secretary of State in charge of the voting. He's running for governor while he's in charge of the vote. Pretty good.
Right.
And so he used his position as Secretary of State to wipe out over 500,000 voters off the voter rolls. 500,000. I'm down in Atlanta with the list. I sue him. I get the list of people he's removed. We try to warn everyone we could and put it up and et cetera. But I got there and there's a woman hysterical. An African-American woman, of course, hysterical at this Atlanta polling station. What's happened? Her 92-year-old cousin was just thrown out. I said, you're not registered here. She's been registered and voting at that same school for 50 years, half a century. And they threw her butt out. Now, why? Well, she was clearly voting while black, which is not legal in Georgia. But even beyond that, this is Martin Luther King's cousin.
Wow.
Who's 92 years old. And if they could throw her out, they can throw you out.
Right.
So you check your damn registration. You do it right now. I don't want to hear your excuses.
Exactly.
I know you got other things to do. You're going to get around to it later. No, you won't. You're going to, and your vote may be down the toilet. Okay, so think about that. And you tell everyone you know. Now, that's the beginning. That's the registration cons that they're playing.
Right.
That's how the beginning to steal the vote. Then the next thing they do is they just take your vote and they throw it in the garbage. Did you know that 22%, 1 in 5, mail-in ballots is never counted? 1 in 5. That's according to MIT. 1 in 5. So you think you're going to beat Trump by sticking a stamp on it?
Right.
Get real.
Right.
let's wake up right now and realize that they are stealing this thing. You got to steal it back. And if I hear one more damn person like James Carville say, "Oh, don't worry, Trump's got it. Trump
Right.
doesn't stand a chance." He's told us that's a repeat of what he said in 2016.
Exactly. Greg, we're
Okay.
talking to Greg
Okay.
Palast, investigative reporter, and his new book, How Trump Stole 2020, The Hunt for America's Vanished Voters, is now out. So go get it immediately.
Yeah.
So, Greg, thank you. What you were
You're
saying.
very welcome. So again, if you get How Trump Stole 2020, well, the main thing you get is how to steal it back in the
Right.
book. But the other thing you get if you get it and send me a thing of your like a little iPhone photo or a no phone photo, I don't care, of your receipt, I'll send you the audiobook for gratis. My foundation, I don't make any money off this. I want to tell people, not that you care, but it's all proceeds go to the Palast Investigative Fund, which is our nonprofit foundation, so that we can go after these.
Right.
I have 15 people. It's not just, I'm just the hat on camera. So we do a hell of a job of old-fashioned gumshoeing, deep investigative reporting. And that's why we are uncovering we're getting these secret lists, scamps like Brian Kemp. That's the guy, when he ran against Stacey Abrams, he said he used to be like a really straight New South guy like Jimmy Carter. But then to win the Georgia governorship, he decided he was going to go full goober. And he changes out of his boot suit, puts on an old, Pendleton shirt and some jeans, gets a pickup truck and says, "I got me a pickup." He starts talking like a goober too, which he never did before. This is not his real accent. He says, I got me a pickup truck so I can aliens myself.
Right. Because I have to take them to the border myself.
Okay,
right.
So that's Georgia.
Ugh.
Yeah, and so what happened? But the thing is, this guy took for a test drive the methods that they're going to use around the country for removing voters. So he removes 500,000. The GOP goes after another 16 million voters, and no one's talking about it.
Right.
They're off the list. It's not like it's a threat. The only thing is in Wisconsin, which is going to decide this election. Everything's up to Wisconsin. This is the swing state this year. I mean, there's a few, but probably it comes down to Wisconsin. Trump supposedly won Wisconsin by 22,000 votes out of 3 million. So they're nervous, the GOP. So they don't think they can win it this time. They didn't win it last time. They had to steal it. That's in How Trump Stole 2020, called Wisconsin Eats Its Young, is the title of that chapter. But the stuff to Wisconsin 2020 is about a lawsuit being brought by billionaires. This is not the Koch brothers. I mean, there are other billionaires out there who are at least as nasty, rabid, and the Bradley family of Milwaukee. They had a big manufacturing operation. They shut it down. Basically disemployed all of the union workers and African Americans, and now so they devastate Milwaukee. And they pulled all the plants out, moved them to China, but then took the money that they made from the move, selling out, and put $1 billion into kind of right-wing, crypto-fascist political attacks and legal attacks. And I don't say that lightly, by the way, crypto-fascist. It is.
Yes.
When you're removing people from voter rolls, that's fascism, because you are basically taking people's rights to control themselves. So, so what's happened is that they've sued the state of Wisconsin. You'll see this in the book, saying, "Oh, you got to remove these 152,000 people who've left the state." Now, who are they? They're almost all students and black people. Students in Madison, black people in Milwaukee. This is how they intend to win this presidency, to keep Wisconsin. So they say you got to remove 152,000 people who've moved. And so I go to Wisconsin. Believe it or not, unusually, the state's on my side. The lieutenant governor, his name is Mandela Barnes, African-American activist. And he said, "Look, you got to look at this stuff. They're trying to make us remove these voters." I talked to the election board. He said, "This is all phony list, but we don't know what to do. The legislature is telling us to remove these people." So let's find out if they've moved. So I took the list, and there was Saquana Taylor. And definitely guilty of voting while black. So I asked Saquana, I said, "Why are you voting in Milwaukee if you've moved out of Milwaukee? You can't do that. That's against the law." And she said, "I didn't move out of Milwaukee." I said, "How?" She said, "I moved." I said, "How do I know that?" She says, "Look at the sign on this." I was at the state building. "Look at the sign on the building. I'm Milwaukee County Supervisor."
Jesus.
They said that the black woman who's Milwaukee County supervisor left Milwaukee. That's the
Right.
games that they're playing. That's the
Right.
stories you get how Trump stole 2020. If you don't find that interesting enough, I've included a 48-page comic book by Ted Rall,
Right.
so that
Right.
if you don't get it, figure out what I'm saying. Look at the pictures.
Right. And
It's no crime.
that's why I also wanted to ask this, so what do we do to stop them? How? Is it just to
Several.
ensure that we're on the voting rolls, or how do we really know? Because
That's one.
right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So at the back of the book, there is Greg and Ted's new improved ballot condom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's you can tear it out, photocopy it, or zip it around any way you want. Get it on your phone, send it around to your buds. Now the ballot condom, no, you don't wrap it around your ballot. The way you protect your ballot is by following the 7 steps. And step 1, you got right. You check your registration. Oh my God, what does it take? Okay, I know that seems crazy. I know you've been voting in the same place 20 years. I don't care. Mrs. Jordan would vote the same place 50 years. They threw her butt out. Okay, now I saw this Raheem Shabazz, a local radio personality. I was at this polling station when they threw him out. Okay, so that you have to check. I checked. I literally was gone too. So check and re-register online. That's number 1. Number 2, ask for your ballot at least 60 days early for mail-in.
Right.
And if you don't get it within a month, if you don't get it by the first week of October, you better go. You either better call your county clerk or go in and get it. I know that's not so easy. That's a lot of work for a vote. Too freaking bad. I don't care. You're going to have to work at this vote. If you want to get the orange stain out, you are going to have to put in some effort. I'm sorry. John Lewis just died. He put in a little effort. He went across the Pettus Bridge, and they nearly beat him to death. He was in a coma. He was almost dead. Okay, you don't have to march 50 miles to Montgomery. You don't have to, avoid getting lynched by maniacs. All you have to do is stay on top of your vote so that they can't steal it. I'm sorry, it's not as easy as pick and lick. Pick a presidential candidate, lick the stamp, and you're in. Forget about it, baby. That ain't happening. That's not what they're doing. So they don't count a lot of votes. I told you 1 in 5 mail-in votes don't get counted. Half of those are because people don't get the ballot. As I said, you can't vote if you don't get it. So make sure you get it. And that's number 1. And make sure, and by the way, if you've moved, you don't have to re-register if you've moved in your neighborhood. But if you don't, you're out of your damn mind. Because you'll never get your ballot. And you're going to have all kinds of problems. Change all your IDs. Time to get that real ID. We've got the Patriot Act, so you got to get. So if you got an old address on your driver's license, get the new ID. I'm sorry, it's not easy. Stacey Abrams, who is head of Fair Fight, and she hired my team. She hired the Greg Palast team to go through voter rolls in Georgia and stuff and see what the scams that they were pulling off. Well, even she's a top. She almost lost her mail-in vote this June. They mailed her a ballot, and inside was an envelope, which, because of the Georgia humidity, the envelope was sealed. That's the return envelope for your ballot. That happened to thousands of people. Well, if you rip open that envelope and return it, like with Scotch tape on it or something, or use your own envelope, say, I'll just send an envelope. It's just an envelope, right? The ballot's ballot. You just threw away your vote. It's got to be their ballot. She knew that she had to actually go and wait in line, chance getting the bug to get a new envelope. That's how it works. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is Greg Palast hectoring you, cajoling you, threatening you, tickling you, licking you, whatever it takes. I'm going to get you to save your damn vote. Okay, and you're going to read the book, How Trump Stole 2020, because it's filled with a lot of lame jokes, but some very, very serious investigative reporting.
Absolutely.
That will save your vote and hopefully save this country. You got to know, and that's the other thing. We got to talk about it. We got to get people to take the information and spread it around. If you go to gregpalast.com, I'm actually going to put up the ballot condom today. So you don't even have to buy the book to get the condom. But I'm going to tell you this. You want to buy the book because you really want, and you really want the book for yourself and for your dumb cousin in Iowa who thinks Trump actually won in 16 as opposed to steal it. So, okay, so take my word with it. Stick with me on this. Get the books, How Trump Stole 2020. And like I said, get the ballot condom. You can always go to gregpalast.com and just pick up your ballot protection plan. But you want the whole Megillah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of your work that you do. I read the book, and it terrifies me, and I've been encouraging everybody.
Wait, can I ask you a question? I know it's terrifying, but I don't want to scare people off. It's not a horror movie. I mean, it is, but
yeah. Oh, well, it's terrifying.
It's entertaining.
Yes, it's entertaining. No, it's a great book. It's really the way that you present it is for it's extremely palatable. Let's put it that way. But it terrifies me because I feel that we need to get more people paying attention, and that's what we're doing.
We will. Great work.
Thank you, Greg, for sticking with all of the technical problems.
It was like a pain in the butt, but we got there.
Yes,
we're telling the truth on it. So I'll see you at gregpalast.com.
Yes,
every
absolutely.
Saturday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern at the RDT Daily Facebook and YouTube channels, and rebroadcast on Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Progressive Voices, or anytime on demand on the Progressive Voices app.
Support RDT Daily and Tarabuster by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Remember, we stick together, we win.